I'm talking here with Jack Scarlett from Fully Charged. We had a fantastic conversation. And Jack, first tell me, how did you get to Fully Charged?
Oh gosh, Vincent, I'm a lifelong car nerd turned climate change activist. Unlike Robert, my boss, who is a lifelong climate change activist who sort of now likes cars.
Yeah, he was not totally not into cars, just like me, but you were.
Not at all.
And then you ripped out one engine, then went to another, and accepts it now. Okay.
That's exactly right. Okay. I was making silly little videos about cars, and then I started working for a company that just did electric cars. And then you speak to people that know stuff about the climate change and how scary the problems facing us are. And before you know it, you are also a climate change activist. As you know, once you know the information, it's very hard not to feel strongly about these things.
That's true. Hey, how is the EV industry doing in your perspective? We just went from 2021 or COVID, 2021, 2020. Where are we now? How is it going?
It's a mixed bag, isn't it? There are some brands that we both know are moving too slowly and are potentially not going to be here in 5-10 years' time. And there are other brands that are seizing this opportunity.
That's the European, especially the European car
I think it would be fair to say. And there are European brands as well, certainly Western brands, legacy brands, who are seizing the opportunity. But actually, the conversation that you and I just had on the stage, Vincent, we spent about half of it talking about China, didn't we?
China.
And actually, if I look around this show, the cars that are really exciting me are Chinese cars. So that really says something.
And Vietnamese cars, we have Vietnamese cars now starting to join us,
And this has happened so fast, you know. For years and years and years, the Chinese car industry was happy to serve the Chinese car market because tax is very big on Western cars, so everyone buys Chinese in China. But now they're looking overseas and they're thinking, these guys are moving slowly. We could go over there and eat their lunch.
So talk about European cars which excite you. Give me one of your most exciting cars.
Well, European cars that excites me. I mean, the boring answer, the obvious answer, I love the Porsche Taycan. I love the Audi e-tron GT. Yes, we're talking about 100,000 euro electric cars. But
or even more expensive from the Netherlands.
Even more, we're talking about the Lightyear Zero.
Yeah, you're very excited about it. That's really interesting.
I think it was one of the highlights of my year was driving the Lightyear Zero pre-production car. Just an astonishing vehicle. You know, again, incredibly expensive, but as we both know, they're doing the Tesla, right? You start with the expensive car, you raise some money, then you build the cheaper one. And what Lex and the team at Lightyear are doing is they're building that first car and the hardware within it in such a way that they can take all of those components, those same motors, and drop them into the next cheaper model. They don't have to start with a blank piece of paper. The hardware is all there, which does mean if you buy a Lightyear Zero, you're buying a car with slightly cheap bits and a very big price tag, but we'll ignore that part.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see an English guy be enthusiastic about Dutch cars. So that's wonderful. Okay, so China is doing really well. What did you see any cars here which you thought were interesting?
I mean, we've got to talk about the Korean brands, right? Which I feel like a broken record. All I do right now is talk about how good Kia
Korea
and
is doing wonderful.
But of the legacy car brands, or the brands that have been around for a long time, they are showing how it's done. And that is, you commit, you go big, you go early. And, you know, we're stood next to a Kia EV6 here. There's an Ioniq 5 over there. They've gotten so good at the hardware that now they're just doing styling and, you know, just nice interiors because they have the time and space to think about that stuff. And they've got bespoke platforms now, which, as we know, makes a huge difference. I'm at the point now where I'm not really interested in the kind of conversion electric cars. I just want to see bespoke, dedicated EV platform electric cars.
Hey, $100,000 market is well served. 80,000 well served. 60,000 well served. 40,000 already enough choice. What about 20 and 30,000?
So frustrating, right? And, you know, we've got a lot of brands promising something around 24, 25. That's 2024, 2025. So VW ID Life is going to transpire. There'll be a matching Cupra and a matching Skoda. But there are none, right? There are
the German one, the German Solar, the Sono.
The Sono Scion is a wonderful thing. That's a very, very special car, and I hope that gets off the ground. Production starting later this year. I believe. What we do have is a nice selection of kind of micro cars, and that's a bit of a cop-out answer. But one thing that I would encourage people to do as we transition into electric is ask themselves, do I need a big, proper car? Or could I make do with a little Squad Solar or a Carver? You know, two seats.
10,000 euro, beautiful car, easy to
nothing
park.
to charge, easy to park. So in the meantime, I think those kinds of things are part of the solution. But my God, you're absolutely right. We desperately need to see more small, simple electric cars.
You need to fly away, but a couple of things. Autonomous driving, how is that going?
Well, there's a compilation on YouTube of Elon Musk saying that
every year
autonomous driving is coming next year. Every year for 10 years, which I think sums it up quite nicely.
Let's forget about Tesla. I mean, Mercedes is doing a really good job. The Chinese are waking up. Have you driven an autonomous driving car that you go, wow, This is very exciting.
No, I haven't actually. And there's, you
Okay.
know, there's plenty of cars that are very impressive on motorways and highways. They do the simple stuff extremely well
Yeah.
now. But as far as cutting, you know, I live in London. It's chaos on the roads. You've
Yeah.
got children running across the street.
Not
You've got
anywhere near.
cyclists who are crazy. You've got building works.
No.
I don't know how you program that. And more to the point, I don't know how you do
If
self-driving.
humans can do it with 2 eyes, with a minimal brain, who cannot drive, most people cannot drive, and they make a lot of accidents. Computers will be able to do it.
I
Okay,
suppose that's
next
true.
subject: energy. How's the energy pricing going in England?
Rough. It's getting expensive. I think I'm probably paying about twice as much to charge my Polestar as I was a year ago.
And what's the price per kilowatt hour? Any idea?
I think when I charge at home, it's somewhere in the realm of sort of 40 pence.
40
I think,
pence,
which
and
is
that's twice as much. Yeah,
it's still
And
way
we're
cheaper
in
than petrol.
We are at 80 cents.
That's bad.
We're now at 80 cents.
Yeah.
So then it becomes just as expensive as an ICE car.
So
So
frustrating.
that is not so cool for the electric driving revolution. Is the government committed to it in England to basically go electric?
Well, you have a new government in England, or
Yeah,
a new
but
prime minister,
have
as you know.
a
and,
nice progressive English female prime minister, right?
I don't want to talk about.
You don't want to talk
politics
about. You're
in England
frustrated.
at the moment.
You're
It's
frustrated.
too upsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very conservative.
Put it this
You
way:
always have this-
our new prime minister likes fracking. That's what she's excited
I
about.
know.
So that really speaks to where our current government is at as far as the whole climate change
Okay,
thing.
what's your next stop?
Next stop, let's see. I've got a secret one that I can't tell you about, and then we're also going to Italy to drive something called the Microlino, which is a tiny 2-seater electric microcar based on the BMW Isetta bubble car of the 80s, which you may not care about because I know that that's sort of a bit car nerds car, but it's a tiny bubble 2-seater electric car. The front is the door, so you just park up into the bay.
Yeah.
I mean, wonderful. And
Okay.
I love that kind of stuff because
Okay.
it makes boring city driving fun.